Thanks for joining us in the second video in the Lost and Found series. We're so glad you're with us today. You know, in the first video, if you remember, I told you about my experience of losing keys. You know, I told you about the great panic I had when I thought I'd lost them for good, and the journey to find them with my friends, and then when I actually found them, the great joy of that. I also said that I think that illustrates God's search for a lost humanity very well, and the great joy there is when we return to Him. In this video, Jesus is going to begin a series of 3 stories that talk about lost and found people and a God looking for humanity. Why don't you dive into the text with us right now in Luke chapter 15 as we hear what Jesus has to say. Now all the tax collectors and sinners were coming to hear him, but the Pharisees and the experts in law were complaining, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." Now there's really one important thing about the setting I want you to get from these verses. Jesus is speaking to 2 different groups of people, but with one single message. Everyone is lost. We have one group called tax collectors and sinners. These were people that were rejected by the leaders of their day and their community in general, but they were coming to Jesus and happy to be with him. The second group is called Pharisees and experts in the law. These people are the religious elite of their day, who interpreted and applied the law for the common person. The problem is they thought they were better than everybody else. Notice the contrast here in the text, coming versus complaining. And so, Jesus responds to the complaint of the Pharisees and experts in the law. Now, what's their problem with him? Well, Jesus welcomes the tax collectors and sinners that they can't stand, and they have judged them to be outside the law and therefore unrighteous. What about you? Do you fall into one of these groups of people? Are you like the complainers because you think you're better than everybody else? Do you follow the rules and tend to look down on anyone who doesn't keep your standards? Or maybe you just think you deserve good rewards and have a good karma going on, but you exclude people who don't fit into your circles. And no matter where you fall, you let this attitude keep you from Jesus and to see your need for him. On the other hand, are you a social outcast because you don't quite fit in? Are you disliked in your community because of some of the choices you've made, your profession, or your lifestyle? How will Jesus show both groups that they are lost and communicate their need for him? Well, he does that in a couple of short stories. So, with religious leaders and outcasts in mind, let's move on to the third video.